Hello, welcome or welcome back to the Yarn and Yarns YouTube channel. My name is Angela and all the places you can find me should be linked in that box just below this video. Here on the channel you'll find me chatting about my adventures in knitting, spinning, crochet, weaving, all of the fibre related things. How are you today? I have a little bit of what I hope is a sort of fun and slightly frivolous video, which I guess could be also attributed to my little series that I'm going to be embarking on over the next couple of years, where I'm chatting about trying to get my stash to a more manageable level, point one, and also a better reflection of where I am in my knitting journey right now. So I have a video that I popped up on the channel not so long ago chatting about all of these issues, and I'll link that up above or down below or somewhere. I had lots of lovely suggestions under that video for how to kind of accomplish the goals that I'm working towards, but also just lots of lovely comments from people who said that they really enjoyed the video and they like exploring and chatting about stash, organisation, and how each individual approaches their little sort of curated collection of yarns. It is the beginning of April as I'm recording this video, and in a couple of weeks time I shall be going, hopefully, fingers crossed, all being well, to my first yarn festival in 2.5, 3 years maybe. The lovely WonderWool festival, which is the sort of biggest festival that's held here in Wales, is back on in person at the end of April, and as I say, all going well, I should be attending on the Sunday. I'm hoping to grab a lift with a lovely friend of mine, and we shall be heading out for the day and just enjoying the festival, meeting up with some lovely friends hopefully, and yeah, just browsing and being tempted. And the being tempted part is why I'm here, because I thought I might just put myself a little video up here on the channel calling myself out and sharing all of the things that I have purchased in past WonderWool festivals that I've not yet used. And given that the last 2 years of WonderWool festivals have been virtual, these things have been in my stash for at least that long, if not longer. So yes, I'm just going to share today everything that I've purchased at previous WonderWool festivals, and just remind myself that really, although it will be rude not to come home with a skein or two, I need to curb it at a skein or two, and I don't need to come home with 20. So wish me luck with that. So here goes. I have all but one of my yarn purchases. Now, the one that I don't have, and I think it's shut away in one of my cupboards, which is why I don't have it, is I actually have a sweater quantity of lovely sort of brown, sort of mid-brown, almost rusty toned yarn, which I purchased from Wool Tops with the idea of making a branches and bud sweater, and it's a Poledale yarn. Yeah, I just never got around to casting it on, and at the moment, as I say, it's not in the sort of stash that I can reach easily, so I believe it is boxed up and stuck in a cupboard. But if I remember, I'll try and put a picture of the yarn so you can see it on the screen. But I think I've got about 700 grams of the brown, and I also bought a contrast green colour, although I don't think the green would really work for the branches and buds pullover, and I'm not even sure that I'm desperate to knit that pullover anymore. So yeah, we'll see. That might be one that I need to rethink the project for, but I definitely want to keep it in my stash and I definitely want to use it. So that is purchase number one that I have not used from my previous WonderWool purchases, and that's the biggest one, or the biggest in terms of quantity. Hello, it's Editing Ange here. You might have seen my little note at the beginning of this video where I was telling you that naughty Ange from the past lied to you, because there's actually another quantity of yarn that hadn't emerged from the cupboards when I recorded this video that I have now remembered that I have. And I purchased 3 large kind of cones, in effect. They're not really cone shaped, but 3, almost like a roll of t-shirt yarn, which is basically a sort of fabric yarn, a cotton yarn sort of made from jersey material. It's waste from textiles and like the fashion industry. And I purchased 3 sort of rolls of this t-shirt yarn to make a rug for our living room to go in front of the fireplace. But when I started the rug, and as I crocheted it up, although all of the yarns seemed to be the same, they were actually slightly different thicknesses, and it looked awful in the sort of crochet piece, the crochet rug that I was trying to make. So I actually ended up unpicking that rug, but I've still got the yarn, and I kind of have plans to maybe make some baskets from it. So I'm keeping it in stash for now. But yeah, when I was recording this video, I'd completely forgotten that I still had that as well. Naughty, naughty. So yes, another one of my WonderWool purchases that I've got and I haven't used, and I don't think I've got a photo even to share with you, but I might try and find a sort of representative photo from the internet somewhere that sort of shows you what the yarn looks like, but you may be familiar with it already, I'm sure you are. Next up, I have two absolutely glorious skeins of yarn from Marina Skewer, and Marina has a channel here on YouTube, so I know that many of you will probably already watch Marina. She's on maternity leave at the moment, but Marina sources fleeces from some some farms local to her, gets them spun up and dyes them in beautiful colours, and I purchased from her at the last in-person WonderWool these two gorgeous skeins of yarn in her Mendip range, and this is Mendip DK. And I've got a skein of Bloom, which is the sort of chartreusey colour, and a skein of Plum. And my intention was to knit up something colourworky with these two colours. But as you can see, I never got around to casting on. But now that I'm fondling these and handling these two colours again, they look absolutely glorious. And Marina has some beautiful colourwork patterns for hats and things. So maybe this will inspire me to add this to the to be cast on pile for the sort of sooner rather than later to be cast on pile. So yeah, two skeins of double knit yarn from the lovely Marina Skewer. Next up, I have two skeins of yarn from Riverknits, and again this was purchased at the last in-person WonderWool festival, and I believe this was a base that they've newly launched either for that festival or just before, and it's a Wensleydale yarn. And if you've followed me for quite some time, I don't think I've waxed lyrical about my love of Wensleydale recently, but Wensleydale is one of my most favourite fibres to work with. I just love it. It's not for everyone because it's not super soft. It has a beautiful halo. It's just beautiful. It was one of the first sort of breed specific yarns that I discovered on my knitting journey, and I've just had an absolute love affair with it ever since. And I bought these two 100-gram skeins. This is a 4-ply 100% British Wensleydale, and this is the bright copper colourway, and this is the antique pewter colourway. And my intention was to knit some sort of shawl with these two skeins. As you can see, almost 3 years down the line, I have not cast these on. Shame on me. And then next up, I have my one and only indie dyed skein of yarn from my sort of WonderWool past purchases at stash, and this is a Mr. B yarn, and it's from Bird Street Yarns, and this is the Fallen Hard colourway in the Hiddleston 4-ply base, which is a 75/25 superwash merino nylon. And Bird Street Yarn vended for the first time at the last in-person WonderWool, and I had seen their yarns all over Instagram, all over the interwebs, and really enjoyed them and wanted to support them. So I purchased this beautiful skein. As I say, it's called Fallen Hard, and it's a speckled yarn. It's a grey base, and it has speckles of orange, blue, purple, all of the colours that I really enjoy. And so yeah, here it is. Isn't that lovely? And I had no particular purpose for this yarn. I just wanted to support the dyers, and this was my favourite skein that they had left on the stand when I visited. And again, I just have not got around to casting it on. Shame on me. And then I have a tale of stashing which happened over the period of 3 years. So I've visited the festival 3 times, and I've kind of added to my little collection of this yarn as we've gone. And it is the Cambrian Mountains yarn, which is a lovely Welsh produced yarn, as the name suggests. I think it's farms and flocks sourced around the Cambrian Mountain area, and it's a cooperative, I believe. Although I could be wrong, don't quote me on that, where they collect all the fleeces, spin up the yarn and make this sort of special yarn. Here we go, it says on the back here. Our community interest company was set up in support of an initiative inspired by His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales to help develop rural hill farming economies. The fleeces are sourced from small holdings in the Cambrian Mountain area, and it's a base of Welsh mule. And so the first year that I visited WonderWool, I picked up this really lovely selection pack, which included most of, if not all of the colours that were available in the range at the time. It's a 4-ply base, and yeah, so there's natural, there's greys, and there's a bunch of dyed colours in there. So I picked that up during my first WonderWool festival, thinking that would be a nice little sample for some colour work, or maybe a shawl or something, you know, put them all together. And I just never got round to casting on. The second year that I went back to WonderWool, I remembered that I'd had this and I had not been inspired or found a perfect project to cast these on. So I thought, well, when I was visiting the stand, why not get a little bit more, so that if I wanted to do a larger shawl project, I think when I'd first went to WonderWool was not long after I'd moved here, and I was still sort of finding my way on my knitting journey. And as I had progressed, I realised that at the time I preferred to make larger shawls rather than smaller shawls. And so I thought, why not buy a couple of the neutral, sort of natural grey colours, so that I could potentially make a larger shawl pattern, incorporating these little mini skeins if I wanted to. And so I did, and look, I haven't cast on. Shame on me. And then finally for Cambrian, and actually finally overall, I went to WonderWool the following year, so the most recent WonderWool, and on the Cambrian wool stand they had a little basket of sale yarns, and they had a beautiful colour that they were discontinuing on the same base as the other yarns that I've got. But you'll see when I show you why I couldn't leave this one behind. So I got 4 skeins in this absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous orange colourway at a bargain price, with no particular project in mind. But as you can see, I have not yet cast them on. Shame on me. Maybe not the biggest stash that I could have had, and it does make up just a small percentage of my stash overall. However, including the sweater quantity, which I wasn't able to, well, let me rephrase that. It was not that I wasn't able to get it, I was too lazy to get it out of the cupboard to show you. So including that sweater quantity, my total WonderWool yarn stash equates to 1.6 kilos of yarn. So when you think about it like that, that's quite a lot of yarn. That's going to take quite a long time to knit through, and 800 grams of that, no, 900 grams of that is double knit, and the rest is 4-ply. So that sort of gives you a little bit of a ratio and an idea of how long it might take to knit through, you know, 700-800 grams of 4-ply yarn. That's quite a lot of knitting. Yeah. So yes, as I already said, that is really just a small little portion of my stash, but it is everything yarn wise. I haven't included fibre, you might note. That is everything yarn wise that I still have it in my stash that I've purchased from previous WonderWools and haven't yet got round to using. So this is me talking to me, Angela. You do not need to come home with another kilo plus of yarn. Okay, are you listening to yourself? Got my eye on you. I see you. Yes, I see you. I see you. So there we go, just a quick fun video, another little exploration of my stash, and basically just me calling myself out and sharing all of my previous purchases from WonderWool shows that I've not yet used. So yeah. Let me know in the comments below, do you have a local yarn festival that you have visited in past years? I know obviously the last couple of years have been festival free for the most part, but do you have a local-ish yarn festival that you visited several times and you've managed to accumulate a stash, or are you very good at purchasing yarn from a festival or maybe your local yarn shop and casting it on straight away? Just, yeah, let me know in the comments below. I'm hoping some of you will be like me and have a little stash from years past, just because, you know, it's nice to know you're not alone. But I'm sure there'll also be plenty of you out there who are much better than I am and buy yarn and cast on with it straight away. Right, I am going to round up this visit. I'm going to love you and leave you this time, but I'll be back again soon here on the channel with some more content, so I hope you will join me for the next video. But until we do get to spend time together again, I hope you get to do some of the things that you enjoy. Maybe that includes a bit of stash acquisition. Great big woolly hugs to you all. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.